Hello, N4H&H here. Just want to share with you my excitement. I've lived in this location at this QTH now for, well, let's see, as a matter of fact, 23 years. And this signal level you're seeing right here on 20 meters, even using amp 1, this is the lowest noise floor I've ever seen. And so for those of you who are wondering, there was a recent post on one of the MeWe ham radio groups. A new amateur just getting started in HF was curious about the level of noise he was hearing. And so I wanted you to see this because this is about normal when you don't have power line noise, plasma TVs, wall warts, cheap LEDs, and things like that causing interference on the band. This is about a normal noise level that you could expect from just what we call QRN, atmospheric noise. You know, there's magnetic radiation, of course, always surrounding the Earth. So, you may have seen some of my older videos where I was dealing with power line noise. The power company came out yesterday and took care of it once and for all. And so for those of you who may wrestle with noise, let me give you a quick, maybe I'll make this a little bit longer video than I anticipated because we're talking about noise. And let me give you an indication or a little idea, a little insight into what kind of things you can expect to cause noise beyond power line noise. Power line noise has got a characteristic grind to it. Now, it sometimes can be intermittent because sometimes it's driven by the humidity. As the air dries, then the static buildup between loose hardware, which is often what causes the noise, the static buildup, in other words, the voltage builds up to a higher level before it discharges because the air is drier. When the air is more moist, the voltage doesn't build up as high before it discharges to ground, and so it generally doesn't cause a lot of interference with our radios. You're going to get the most noise when you have a nice dry day and you have a low humidity. So when the things like an insulator, an older style insulator like the glass ones, they collect dirt and moisture, and they can build up and cause arcing. As they replace those, they're replacing them with a polymer that doesn't collect the dirt as much. Loose hardware, literally loose bolts, brackets, and of course, sometimes it's a blown lightning arrestor, and I've had that. Matter of fact, they found one yesterday when they came out and worked on this, but a lot of it was loose hardware. So just wanted you to know those are the kind of things you can get from the power company. But the very first thing you want to do is try to make sure that it's not some hash coming from within your own house. And one of the tricks on that is to run your radio on a battery so you can then kill your main breaker to your house and make sure that it's not something coming from within your house. And I have had that. Wireless phone charger, wall warts, not all of them do it, but some of the cheap ones are not filtered very well. Plasma TVs, which fortunately are kind of phasing out, but if your neighbor has one, it is possible you could hear a little bit of that. Some of the devices, paraphernalia that someone might have in a greenhouse, some of the lighting and heating can cause issues. I had a fish tank light that my daughter had that would cause some noise for a while. A baby rocker, the kind you plug in, put the baby in, it'll rock the baby for you, noisy power supply on it. So you want to make sure that you're not dealing with something that is coming from within your own house. But power line noise, you'll get used to it and you'll be able to know that. Oh, also too, you can get noise from the cable company, from the internet providers, things like that, where they also can have some bad connections on their poles, and that noise is very trashy and very broad in spectrum. So this is the best job my power company's ever done for me. Georgia Power, It's ironic how it happened. They've got a guy who retired, who is the guy who has all the equipment. He even designed the test van that can come out and identify it. He uses infrared technology, parabolic dishes. He can narrow down to exactly which bolt on the pole it is. And by the way, it's almost never the transformer. Almost never the transformer. This guy, this engineer who's already retired, said he only saw in his entire career, he only had 2 transformers that were ever at fault. It's mostly loose hardware. I've actually seen a lightning strike took out the ground wire that goes from the top of the pole down to the ground rod. That it was literally burned in half. That's not uncommon, he told me. So a lot of times it's just going to be from lightning arresters, loose hardware, and loose bolts, and in the older insulators. So this is about normal for the 20 meter band. Now as you go higher, let me show you here. I'm going to go up to 10 meters. You know, it's just sitting there at virtually 0. Now I am on amp 1, and when you get up into the higher bands like that, sometimes you may need amp 2, but I'm not needing it. I mean, look, amp 2 is literally going to drag in noise. You don't need that. Unless you need it, don't use amp 2. I'll tell you where you usually use amp 2, I do, is on CW. Because when you go to CW, I'll go over here to just, I'll go to 40 meters in CW. Okay, when you go to CW, because of all your filtering, you know, I'm very narrow here on my filtering. You can sometimes, you know, use a little boost on your sensitivity. So that is an excuse for using amp 2. When you get down on the lower bands, though, let's say I'll go down to 75 meters. Now I've got 6 dB of attenuation. There we go, amp 1. That's actually about normal for 75 meters. That's just what a lot of people call ground noise. That's just about normal. And you can see it on the scope. That's why on these lower bands, and that's just because of the sensitivity of the receiver in the radio. So a lot of time on these lower bands, I'll kick in about 6 dB of pad or attenuation, and go to IPO1, intercept point optimization. And that's in essence what you're doing there. And I've shot many videos about this. You're turning off the first stage of amplification in your receiver because it's not needed on these lower bands. So yeah, noise, I'll characterize it this way, okay? And the lady at the power company, the inside engineer, and she is phenomenal here with Georgia Power. She told me that our area, if she looks on the map, we have a very dense overhead power infrastructure here. Yes, not underground. We have 200 homes, okay, 199 to be exact, homes in this subdivision. So if I'm going to get noise, I'm going to get it here. So they have literally done a phenomenal job knocking my noise floor down. I liken this to maybe like living out in the country where I don't have a neighbor for 5 miles. I mean, and also with underground power. So this is really quite good. This is a ham radio operator's dream to have a noise floor this low. I mean, just think, I've been chasing ghost stations for the past year or so that you've seen videos of, and I've been contending with power line noise. Now, it had gotten better. They had gotten it down into the S2, S3 range, but to get it down as low as it is now, the power line noise, well, it's gone. This is just incredible. I guess you can tell I'm excited about this. And I hope that if you have noise that you're dealing with at your QTH, that your power company will be as cooperative. But let me tell you what happened. I mean, this has kind of been going on off and on for years, because it'll happen again. Next lightning strike might damage some hardware, take out a lightning arrestor. But this is the best job they've done yet to knock the noise floor down. Well, ironically, what happened is, because of COVID-19, the power company's been running on a skeleton crew. So the first thing you want to be is patient, okay, and nice to them. If you approach them with an angry attitude, you're going to be put way down on the list, okay? But I've been very nice to them and very patient, and I've been understanding. And and they told me they were running a skeleton crew due to COVID. And so what happened was the engineer who identified the noise, who is retired, and no, this is the sad part, they have not been able to identify a replacement for him, even someone he could train yet. So they're bringing him out of retirement on a contract basis. Then the guy who came out yesterday and solved the issue, he's even approaching retirement. He's a very experienced crew lineman supervisor, and they don't have a lot of people coming along to replace these people, which is scary, right? But a combination of the engineer on the inside, she coordinated everything, and then the retired engineer who knows how to spot the noise, using his infrared and parabolic dishes, and then he takes snapshots with a camera, reports that in, said this is the pole. The pole has an ID, by the way, and then this is the bolt on the pole that needs to be tightened, things like that. And the combination of that, and then the person who follows his images, his report, and comes out and goes to the pole and actually takes care of the issue. The three of them working together as a team was phenomenal. But you got to be nice. You got to be patient, especially now since they have a zero tolerance. If you come in and sneeze, cough, they're going to check your temperature, you're sent home. So just be patient with your power company and nice to them, and they will deal with it. At least mine did. And I do hear from some other people in other parts of the United States who've told me their power company is good about taking care of it as well. But also I have heard of some who have had a bad experience with their power company. But be nice to them, be understanding. I know you don't want to, it's counterintuitive, but don't call them and say, I want you out here. I better have somebody out here tomorrow. Don't act like that. Be nice with them. Say, look, I understand you're probably short-handed right now. I'm patient. I can wait, but I sure would appreciate, sending someone out and trying to deal with this power line noise I'm dealing with, because you don't want to spend all the money on your radio and antennas and then get in here and you can't hear anything for power line noise. So that's my encouragement to you. But do reach out to your power company. They actually are obligated to take care of it. They are not supposed to have RFI, radio frequency interference. They're not supposed to produce that with their power system. So they will, they're obligated, I should say, to take care of it. But just exercise some patience with them. Okay, hope you found the video helpful and informative regarding noise on the bands. Thank you, Patreons, for helping me keep this channel going. www.patreon.com, patreon.com, then /N4HNH if you would like to help out in keeping the channel going. If you find this content valuable and helpful to your enjoyment of the ham radio hobby. And of course, please like the video, subscribe, click the bell. All of those things help our channel here to stay up and going on YouTube. Thanks a lot. 73 from N4HNH.